What's up everyone, it's Kelly and today I've got another swatch review for you. So today we are talking about the latest from Holo Taco. I've got their Dark Academia collection for fall 2024. Now if you haven't heard of Holo Taco before, they are a nail polish brand created by YouTuber Christine of Simply Nailogical, and all of their polishes are 10 free, meaning they are free of 10 of the potentially harmful ingredients that can be found in nail polish. They are vegan, meaning they do not use any animal derived ingredients, and they're also cruelty free, meaning they do not test their products on animals. So like I said, they just came out with this new Dark Academia collection. It's actually split into two different sections. So we have the Undergrad Bundle, which is for cream finishes. Actually, one of them is a cruelty. And then we have the Grad School Bundle, which is for specialty finishes. And all of the colors are really deep autumnal shades, almost blackened colors. So let me dive into the swatches first, then we can talk a little bit more about my thoughts on them, and then we can get into pricing, availability, and all that good stuff. So roll the swatch footage. So as with all of my swatch and review videos, I am using base coat underneath all of my swatches just to protect my natural nail and prevent any stains. Today it's the Orly Bonder base coat. Alright, starting off with the Grad School Bundle because I'm very excited about these. This first shade is called Secret Society, and this is actually a pretty unique color. So we have this gray base, and then within that base we have a beautiful duochrome gold shimmer. So at some angles it looks a little bit more greenish toned, and at some angles it looks a little bit more of like a bronzy color. And then we also have a scattered hollow sparkle running throughout, and I really love this. I think it's an interesting mixture of color, and the formula was really easy and workable. It gave me perfect coverage in two coats, and it really does have that fall vibe to it, especially with that duochrome shimmer in there. It just makes me think, I don't know, of trees for some reason. Next up we have the shade Inkwell, and this one is a super deep brownish bronze shimmer that almost looks black on the nail, and as you can see, this one was super opaque. It pretty much gave me one coat coverage, but I did end up doing a second coat just to show you what that looked like. But this is a very dark blackened sort of color. You can see in lower lightings, and even with a little bit more light on it, it does look like a very deep shade, but when the light hits it, it has that sort of lit from within glow that I love this time of year. So this is just a perfect almost black color if you want just a touch of something extra going on in there. Next up we have the shade Ivy League, and this one is another really beautiful shimmer, but this one is in more of a jelly base. So you can see in the first coat it went on a little bit more sheer, but I did end up getting full coverage in the second. And then we also have this gorgeous, slightly larger green shimmer running throughout. So again, we have that sort of blackened base, but then when the light hits it, it glows so beautifully and green. And honestly, this is already making me excited for the winter holidays. This feels like such a perfect Christmassy kind of color to me, but I think it also works really well for this time of year. So another gorgeous shade with a perfect formula. And then the final shade of the Grad School Bundle is this one, Silent Library, and this one is a navy blue jelly that is packed with this silver flaky running throughout, and I really love this one. It's described as being their frosted metal formula. I feel like it's a little bit different, or maybe it's just a new and improved version of their frosted metals, because this one applied so smoothly. I love the opacity. It honestly kind of looks like snowflakes falling in the night. Again, it feels like a perfect wintry shade, but I do love this sort of deep navy color for fall as well, so I think it's really perfect for that. And again, it gave me perfect coverage in two coats. So now moving on to the undergrad polishes, which is our cream finishes. This first shade is called Ivory Tower, and if you could guess from the name, this one is an ivory cream shade. So it's an almost white, very slightly off-white, kind of has this beigey yellow undertone going on to it, and it's actually a really nice formula. It's definitely very opaque. It almost gave me one coat coverage, and I honestly love colors like this, especially in the fall for nail art, because sometimes I want to have a very light background for nail art, but white is a little bit too stark, so this is just the perfect fix for that. Next up, we've got the shade Foreshadow, and this one I would describe as a grayish cream, and as you can see, again, super opaque. This one was also almost a one coater, but I did need a second to get full coverage, And this is such a beautiful shade. It actually reminds me a lot of ILNP Mushroom that just came out as well, also a grayish, but this one I would say is a little bit more towards the gray, whereas Mushroom was a little bit more brownish toned. So another really gorgeous shade, and again, loving that opacity, especially for nail art. Next, we have the shade Headhunter, which is described as a hunter green cream, and this one looked a little bit lighter in the bottle than it applied on the nails. I think shades like this look almost black on me just because I am very pale, but once again, you could see this one was very opaque. I think this one I could get away with wearing in one coat. I did notice on the second coat that this one was not as self-leveling as I'm used to from Holo Taco creams, but I feel like top coat is going to easily smooth that out, and again, it's just so opaque, so I feel like I'm definitely going to be reaching for this one a lot for nail art. And finally, we have the shade Devil's Advocate, and this one is described as an oxblood crelly. So we have this super deep burgundy red kind of color, and it does have that crelly sort of formula. So you can see in the first coat, it's a little bit more jelly-like, and you can see the nail underneath, and then it does get deeper and darker the more coats you put on. For me, it gave me perfect coverage in 2. And again, I did notice that it wasn't quite as self-leveling, but again, I feel like that's an easy fix with top coat. And I do think that this sort of crelly formula is pretty common when it comes to these deeper red shades, and I think that also could translate in an interesting way for nail art, especially for like a blood drip kind of thing for Halloween. So pretty fun. So here are all the shades together, and I organized them a little bit differently for the comparison, just so you could see that a lot of these shades do have sort of matching components for a cream and then a specialty finish. Specifically the first 3, you can see there's that grayish in both the shimmer and the cream. We've got that deeper oxblood reddish bronzy kind of color, and then we also have a greenish, and then of course we've got the outliers, which is the blue and the ivory, but they actually pair really beautifully together. So I think that was a fun way to put this collection together, and a lot of these colors definitely give me a more blackened vibe. I think on darker skin tones you're gonna see the color a little bit better, but personally I do enjoy an almost black color. I think it looks really fun, especially when there's a little shimmer in there to hit the light and make it sparkle. So I think this was a fun collection, but yeah, let's talk a little bit more about it. So those are the polishes, and overall I really enjoyed them. I have to say I definitely especially enjoyed those specialty finishes. I think they're really beautiful, and I love how deep they are. I love a very deep, almost blackened shade that has just a touch of color when the light hits it, and I think they did a really great job with those. As far as the creams go, I love how opaque they are. They're not as self-leveling as some of their other creams, but since they're really opaque, I do think they're going to be incredible for nail art, so I'm very excited to play around with those. And I love that the cream finishes pair well with these specialty finishes because you can do a lot of monochromatic looks that still have that two-tone finish. Now let's get into pricing and availability. All of these polishes come in the regular 12 milliliter bottles, and they do have a wide flat brush that has a rounded tip. Now the price of these does vary based on the formula, but they do range between $12 USD and $14 USD each. So I'm gonna link everything down in the description. You can check them out if you're interested, but I'm curious to hear your thoughts. What do you think of this collection? Which of the 2 bundles do you prefer? Do you like the Undergrad Bundle or do you prefer the Grad School Bundle? And which color is your favorite? Leave it all in the comments. We can chat about it. If you enjoyed my swatch and review videos, please hit that like button. It really helps me out. It lets me know I'm doing a good job. And if you're not already subscribed to my channel, I would really appreciate if you could subscribe. And of course, a huge thank you to my supporters on Patreon, my Royal Astronomer Amanda M, as well as my Cosmic Admirals Ken, Rosie, and Angel. I really appreciate your support, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye. Today's fun fact question comes from Patreon supporter Sabrina, and Sabrina wants to know, if you could have one personal ability that you don't currently possess, what would it be? And this is not a superpower, just a regular ability like playing instruments, speaking multiple languages, etc. That's actually a great question. I think that the biggest thing that I would love to have would be the ability to speak other languages. I really do try to learn other languages. I feel like Spanish is the one that I've been trying to teach myself for several years now, and I feel like I'm just not good at getting the hang of other languages because I feel like I can study it, I can do tests and stuff and learn from it. When it comes to conversational Spanish, I know absolutely nothing. Somebody can say the most basic sentence to me in Spanish that I have studied and translated over and over again, and I still won't know it. You know what I mean? I don't know what this disconnect is in my brain. It's not great. I do wish that I had learned languages when I was younger because I feel like that's an easier time for people to be able to pick up languages, but I did not. And now I'm really struggling to try to learn other languages. So yeah, definitely a struggle for me. Something I would love to be able to pick up a little bit easier. And that's not to say I wish I could just well, obviously I wish I could just instantly have that language. But if my studying amounted to being able to actually pick up a language, that would be incredible. Because I feel like right now it does not matter how much I study, I still can't pick it up. So if anybody wants to answer the fun fact question, what non-superpower ability would you like to have? Let me know in the comments. We can chat about it, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye.